Welcome. Ooh, I know what we'll do. That's right. Always forget. Well, I often forget. You've probably not noticed because I often remember just before I start broadcasting. Now, as I've got time before all of my guests arrive, all of you people, what I'm going to do is get the live chat from this video up on my laptop so I can keep up with your comments a little more easily than I sometimes do if I'm reading them off my phone. Here we go. And thank you very much, people, for tuning in already. Hi, Elijah. Always good to see people. I hope it's good to see me today. I mean, you've got to be the judge of that, honestly. 8 people already, good God. It seems we are popular today. And Ika Pika just got back on their computer. I have to say, yes, that is good timing on your part. I mean, imagine if you hadn't. Imagine if you had actually missed this video. You wouldn't be able to live with yourself. Darren, hi there. Good to see you too. And very shortly, we will actually get into the news. There we go. You probably just heard me. Aha. Right. So now I've got the chat log open on my laptop. I've got my stream going live into my camera. And welcome to the Onyx Path News number 26. I'm Matthew Dawkins, the Gentleman Gamer, your host. And it's good to see you. Good to be back. Hello, Banda. Hello, Simon. And I'm glad the YouTube notification notified you, Simon. Always good to know. Gentlemen, what are the lines do you work and write on, says Wayne Seeger. That's actually a good way to start with the Onyx Path News, talking about some lines that I work on. Oh, and it's awesome to be a deviant, says James. And hello, Daniel. It is awesome to be a deviant. God, there's so much to go into. We'll get back to the question of what lines do I work on. Don't forget to give me your thumbs up. You know how precious I am about my thumbs. Even my crooked thumb. Ave, Solomon Birch, and hi to Maxim. So, let's first of all talk about Kickstarter, because the last couple of weeks have been huge for Onyx Path in terms of Kickstarter. It's been fantastic progress with the Creature Collection Kickstarter for Scarred Lands. Hello, Travis, you're supposed to be on holiday, so please stop looking at this video. You're supposed to be taking time off away from the computer. Everyone tell Travis, get off your computer. I don't lack thumbs unless I'm trying to do some really awful magic trick. But there is a general lack of thumbs. Alright, Travis, you're allowed to stream a game. Anyway, Kickstarter. You are very distracting. All of you. We are doing very well with the Creature Collection Kickstarter for Scarred Lands, and even if you're not a big fan of Scarred Lands, and you should be, it's a brilliant monster manual for Dungeons & Dragons, and any fantasy game. So please, 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 do check out the Creature Collection Kickstarter. It's doing really well. We aim for a small target because we know Scarred Lands is a setting for D&D. And not everyone plays in the same settings, but I honestly think it's worth checking out because you're getting a say over the monsters that go into this book, and the art for it just looks sublime. But probably even more exciting than that to a lot of you is going to be that Deviant the Renegades is on Kickstarter as well right now. Did you miss that? Did you somehow miss that Deviant is already on Kickstarter? Well, shame on you, because it is now on Kickstarter and it's doing really well. One might even say better than expected at this early stage. It's always difficult to judge with a brand new game, bearing in mind for Chronicles of Darkness, the newest games that aren't just new additions, Demon the Descent, Beast the Primordial, and now Deviant the Renegades. So, and Contagion Chronicle, I guess. And each one gave us a different kind of outcome, gave us a different judge of what kind of games people liked. So we have no real way of knowing how well Deviant is going to do. We have a target. It, of course, broke it very early on in the Kickstarter, and I have no doubt that it's going to do wonders, even more. Dale for Spam says, "Hi there, I just wanted to leave a huge thank you. If it weren't for you and the Gentleman Gamer reviews, I would have never found the confidence in running my very own Chronicle of Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition." Thank you very much for saying that. That means a lot to me, and I'm not actually being trite saying that. When I first started getting into this industry, both through doing the vlogs on my channel and then through writing, it was always very strange to me. I always felt very uncomfortable when someone would come up to me and say, "You got me into role playing," or "You got me into writing," or "You gave me confidence to run a game for the first time." But I started realizing that this wasn't a unique phenomenon to do with me. This was anyone who was running these games, reviewing these games, writing them, can act as an inspiration to someone else. It just goes to show that you sometimes need an example of somebody who can do it, and you can take advice from them, inspiration from them. And so it's wonderful to know that my content has had that kind of impact. So thank you very much. And yeah, I got John Birkin's Carry On films, so there we go. Anyway. I will be able to explain how Theo Bell managed to leave the Convention of Prague alive, Simon, but I'll do that at the end with the Q&A. So yes, Deviant the Renegades is on Kickstarter. If you haven't backed it yet because you're not a Chronicles of Darkness fan, what I want you to do right now is, as I'm talking, I want you to load up another tab on your browser, because most people have tabs these days. Most people don't just open up loads and loads of windows. Do you remember when Internet Explorer did that way back when? When everyone used Internet Explorer? I know. I was there. Gandalf. 3,000 years ago. Well, either way, I want you to load up that tab and I want you to type in Kickstarter.com, and I want you to either type in Creature Collection or Deviant. And yeah, I want you to do one of those two things, because I think both those Kickstarters deserve to be checked out. They're being worked on by a fantastic team of people, and you will be grateful for checking them out. Well, anyway, those Kickstarters aside, don't forget that if you missed one of our Kickstarters, you can still back it on BackerKit. Yes, that's right. They Came From Beneath the Sea may no longer be on Kickstarter, but you can still back the traditionally printed version on BackerKit.com. All you have to do is go on BackerKit.com and type "They Came From" into the search bar, and you will find it. And that means you can get access to the exact same things that everyone that backed the Kickstarter did. You are running out of time to do that for Chicago by Night, because we have sent that book off to press, so that won't be long now, and then that version, the Kickstarter version, will no longer be available. So BackerKit.com, check out what Onyx Path has to sell on there, because if you miss the Kickstarter, BackerKit is the place to go. What's more, we've got some very exciting Twitch content coming up very soon. I will answer your questions at the end of the Matthew Dawkins Party Conference. We've got some very exciting Twitch content coming up in the month of October. We have Character Generation or Character Creation Month. Every weekend we're going to be doing character creation for a different game. And then in November we'll be doing one-shots for every single one of those games. So you're going to see character creation sessions for Deviant the Renegades, you're going to see it for Scarred Lands, you're probably going to see it for Scion. We're going to basically introduce you to the mechanics of these games, and that will then lead on to one-shots, because we know that not everyone wants to engage in a regular campaign, not everyone has the time to watch a 2-hour stream every single week, or even go back and watch pre-recorded stuff. But one-shots are a lot more accessible. So the character creation is important because a lot of people like to know how characters are created, and a lot of people have fun watching characters get created. But next to that, in November we'll do one-shots based on those characters if we can clamp down on those players for 2 months in a row. So that's good. But do check out theonyxpath.com for the Twitch schedule every single week. We post it on the blog every single Monday, or just go on twitch.tv/theonyxpath, because our schedule will be on the pre-roll on there, even when videos aren't running, I believe. So that's that. Now, before I get into community content, let's go through some questions people are asking right now. Someone asked near the start of this stream, what lines do I work on? That was Wayne Seeger. So I work on Vampire the Masquerade, everything World of Darkness. My official title is World of Darkness line developer. So I am the overseer of everything World of Darkness put out by Onyx Path. I am also personally developing the Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition books. I am personally developing the current Well of the Apocalypse 20th anniversary books in the form of the Well of 20 art book and the gift cards that are coming out soon. I co-developed Book of Oblivion for Wraith the Oblivion. Thank you very much for the nice Innsmouth t-shirt. I have owned this t-shirt for a monstrously long time, appropriately. This is the Innsmouth High School swim team. What else am I doing? I'm sure I've got lots of other responsibilities. Developed Contagion Chronicle, Mummy the Curse. They Came from Beneath the Sea. I write on a bunch of games as well, like Pugmire, Monarchies of Mao, and of course for various products outside of Onyx Path. I like to stay busy. And what I would suggest to anyone watching this, if you're looking to get into the RPG industry or any creative industry, is don't run before you can walk. It took me over 5 years to get to the point where I've got enough routine work for this to be my full-time job. All I do is create RPGs. I don't go out and do other things. I don't go out other than to play games now. But when you first start doing this freelancing, you're going to find contracts sparingly. They're not going to happen all the time. Sometimes you'll come across a very generous developer who will keep hiring you over and over again. But when that developer stops developing books for a while because there's a backlog or because he's got to refocus, if you've grown dependent on that one source of work, you may find yourself, I guess, cast away. You no longer have a source of contracts, which is why it's always important to network. It's always important to not pester, but it is always important to keep your hat in the ring. Value the work that you do have, because if you've got assignments, that's brilliant. Your foot is already in the door, or your foot's already on the first rung of the ladder, or the second or the third rung of the ladder, and providing you do good work, your name will travel. That's almost as important as networking, making people know who you are. The quality of your work will get you noticed, because we talk. Developers talk, artists talk, fans talk. So that's what I have to say on that. I am working on a lot of game lines in answer to your question. Bander says, Hunter 2nd edition for me. Hunter the Vigil 2nd edition is coming. That's very exciting. And once again, I'm not lacking thumbs, but I do appreciate you giving me your thumbs up. Always. Travis Legg reminds us that at 3:30 PM EDT, Scarred Lands, Myths and Matchmakers is on twitch.tv/The Onyx Path, so please do check that out, because Travis runs a fantastic game. He really is a brilliant GM. It seems every single video I'm saying something poetical about Travis and his talents, but he's not just an excellent writer and developer, he's also a brilliant GM. Thank you for the thumbs, Simon. Thank you for loving Scarred Lands when it first came out, Bander 1. I hope you're checking out the Creature Collection. I love Ravenloft too, Solomon Birch. Not quite as well as I love Planescape, up there behind me. But I can absolutely see why the monsters in the Creature Collection could work through the mists of Ravenloft. So I got John Burke into Carry On films, apparently. I doubt that. I think he was already into Carry On movies. If you don't know what a Carry On movie is, then your loss, I guess. The thing is, they are quintessentially British. I feel it's humour that doesn't really translate well to the rest of the world. It's just innuendo after innuendo after, in your endo. That's basically how it works. They're a bit dated now, but I don't know. I still find them amusing. Simon Matson, can you explain how Theo Bell managed to leave the Convention of Prague alive? Is he just a combat monster, or will that event just remain intentionally somewhat vague? I can tell you that while Theobald is indeed a combat monster, he was an Archon of the Camarilla, there is a very specific reason for how he was able to survive that. Partly it's because the entire convention descended into chaos. As soon as the Bruja let off the shot that blew off Hardstadt's head, things started going a bit cry havoc in the rest of the convention. In the chaos, it wasn't too difficult for a single vampire to escape, especially a vampire with that much celerity, if you want to get mechanical about it. But there is more to it than that. There is also more to it because a lot of the time we talk about Hardstadt being decapitated, but we don't ever really focus on Jorn Peterzoon having been destroyed in the convention as well, and there's a reason for that as well. John Burke says, any plans to put Scarred Lands content in the Roll20 marketplace? That's a very good idea, John. I think there is plans for that. If there isn't Scarred Lands content already, there probably will be soon, but that's something I will raise, and I will pass the idea off as my own. Thank you, Delta, for feeling the honesty in my words. I'm always honest. I never lie. When is Chicago V5 coming to Drive-Thru RPG? It will come to Drive-Thru RPG once it goes to press. So I anticipate that happening in probably around a month or so. Chaz Kellner says, not sure on the timing since I just sent you the email, but the Story Told podcast releases an episode about Geist the Sin Eaters today. The Story Told podcast is a brilliant podcast show you should be listening to. They do an excellent actual play of Exalted. They do occasional profile videos of Changing the Lost, Geist the Sin Eaters, interviews with our creators as well, so do check them out. Simon Madsen says, Demon the Renegades is already fully funded on Kickstarter, so congratulations. Thank you for the congratulations. Any chance of setting some more concrete time for this start of the news streams? It's always a shame to miss it. So the news streams, while I consider them somewhat vital, because I guess they're either vital or they're not, they're somewhat vital. While I consider them fun and useful and excellent ways of reaching out, I do also have to prioritize my writing and development work. So usually I will host news on a Monday. I will host it when I've finished my work and before my family returns home. And that's usually between the 6 p.m, 7 p.m, BST currently, GMT window. So there you go. That's the vague time that it's likely to happen. But we also always have a Monday meeting at Onyx Path that runs either between 5 and 6 or 5 and 7. So who knows? Sometimes much later than that. It were misses, says Stewardess Bri. Matron. David Fuller says, shout out for the Season 1 finale of Scion this coming Saturday on the Onyx Path Twitch. Yes, thank you very much, David. David is one of our storytellers, our story guides, I should say, on our Twitch channel, and he's been running a Scion story, Athens, Ohio. It's a brilliant story. I recommend you check it out because all the parts are going to be available on YouTube. The Season 1 finale is coming up this Saturday, and it's around that time slot that the character creation Saturdays are going to be taking place. So do check that out if you're a fan of Scion and want to know what the game's about. Roger says, any insights as to when the Kickstarter for Hunt for the Vigil 2nd edition will be kickstarting? I simply love that product line. I imagine it will be before the end of the year. Band of One Book of the Fallen coming soon. Second proofs were delivered to myself and Mr. Brocato today to look through. Any interest in Cyberpunk Red? Not from a business standpoint, although we have often spoken about having Cyberpug dealing with Pugmire. So, maybe. I do like Cyberpunk, though. I sometimes shift between whether I prefer Cyberpunk or Shadowrun. I think I like the cleanness of Cyberpunk compared to Shadowrun. Charlie says, have you been keeping an eye on Geek and Sundry's LA by Night? I don't actually watch LA by Night. I've, occasionally seen bits and pieces of it, but I do not watch it. It's just not something I find myself having time for. But I hear it's wonderful, everyone seems to enjoy it, and that Jason runs a very good game. So, having worked with Jason many times, I'm very glad it's going well for him. There's possible a lot of the Camarilla were on Theobald's side, Jez, although I think they probably regretted it afterwards. Deltha says, I'm curious if you could give a glimpse of inside of the Malkavian meta plot, or at least some advice for my Malkavian elder. So the Malkavians in V5 are more related to the seers and oracles of old than being liabilities, which is often how they were played in previous editions. So the best way to use a Malkavian Elder in the current edition of the game is as someone who has seen too much, and it might have injured their mind slightly, or the way they compute and relay things. They still, from a mechanical standpoint, have a derangement, but they're not defined by it, or they're only as defined by it as, I guess, you choose to play them. But have them being a seer, have them be able to either see the future or be able to commune with their antediluvian via the blood, that kind of thing. Twitch stream of news by the whole crew. I don't think that's going to happen. We're all over the world. Stewardess Bri, are you excited for Seattle by Night? I love that there's more and more content coming out for V5. Jerry is biting at the bit for all Scion books to come out. I hope you picked up Origin and Hero. They're both available on DriveThruRPG. Any alternative for Sabbat fans in V5 in the plans? We need some sadist, crazy, mad groups after Gehenna, says Christoph Bachik. The Sabbat are in V5. They will appear again in The Man with the Golden Gun. But in the meantime, Cults of the Blood Gods has a lot of factions you can use as antagonistic or protagonistic, and some of them are rather dangerous and sadistic. The Church of Cain appears, for instance, as does the Bahari. But then you've got some very weird and wonderful cults like Gorgo's Nest. You have the Sons and Daughters of Helena. You have the Eyes of Malachi. They are a very dangerous group. So yeah, there will be options. And you will get some fire-based blood sorcery in Cults of the Blood Gods. So if you're a fan of Tremere, if you're a fan of flinging fireballs, there's no flinging fireballs, but you can certainly start fires in V5 as of Cults of the Blood Gods. Yeah, I bet you didn't know that. That was a nice reveal for you if you like the Path of Flame or Creo Ignim. V5 Chicago by Night Sacrifice. When is the next episode coming out? Why, Daniel? I think I will probably upload it tonight to be on the YouTube channel tomorrow. Odd Apprentice says, would it be out of line to ask about Red Moon? Do you mean Red Moon role-playing, Odd Apprentice? Stuart, I now really want to play a Cyberpug one-shot. Make it. Onyx Path Stream, Mountain Fox. You have finally caught one of these. Good for you. The Sabbat are on holiday. It's not a really relaxing vacation that they're pursuing right now. Bounder 1 is the true Black Hand in existence in V5. Not yet. Yay, Fireball Tremere. No. And Vampires and Fire Alchemy. Oh no. So that's me getting to the end of the questions. So that takes us on to community content. Look at me go. And we seem to be picking up more and more viewers for these news shows. Seem to have more today than we usually have at this time. So maybe it's a national holiday somewhere. So I often go over to the Storytellers Vault. And the reason I do is because some of the content that's been coming out there recently is just utterly fantastic. If you want to get into RPG writing, everyone knows Dungeons and Dragons. Most everyone knows Dungeons and Dragons. Create some Scarred Lands content. The Storytellers Vault is doing really well right now. It's an excellent place to sell some of your content. You get money for it. That's the point. And you don't have to commission artists. You can use the art packs that are already on there. The Vengeance of the Shunned campaign has reached the point that there's a planar index, a peril primer, and a whole slew of adventures that run as part of the Vengeance of the Shunned campaign. So please do check it out. Also, we have the Story Path Nexus. I have to recommend that too, because Scion is a game that can be expanded in so many ways, that I'm amazed more people haven't submitted pantheons and gods and knacks and purviews to the Storypath Nexus, and that will be opening up for more Storypath games as time goes on. And we've got Canis Minor, but also, and this is one I very rarely focus on, the Storytellers Vault. Now, I mention the Storytellers Vault because everything in the Storytellers Vault right now has money off. So do check out the Storytellers Vault, and I believe that extends to all 20th Anniversary Edition books. So if you haven't made the conversion to the V5, but even if you have, and you happen to miss out on a fantastic book, like some of the ones behind me, like Anarchs Unbound, Beckett's Jihad Diary, The Dark Ages Companion, a personal favourite of mine, or Dread Names, The Red List, The Black Hand Guide to Tal Mahi-Ra. You might be able to tell I'm a fan of Vampire the Masquerade. You can get those with money off from Drive-Thru-RPG right now as part of the Storytellers Vault sale. So do check that out as well. So let's see what other questions we're getting. Oh, good lord. Lots. Any mention of the Black Spiral Dancers lead into Werewolf in the Blood Gods book? Black Spiral Dancers do not appear in it because it's more of a vampire book. But I am going to have to go now because there's somebody at the door. And that means it's probably the wife. So thank you very much for watching, and I will answer your questions in text. Check the comments in about an hour. I will have answered your questions. Thank you very much for watching.